And today I have Sami Kankaanpää here with me, who's our expert in everything relating to sales. So,
oh, thanks.
so please introduce yourself.
Yeah, hi. My name is Sami Kankaanpää, and I work as a business lead in our CRM team, or customer engagement, as they usually tell it.
Yeah.
And I've been working with the CRM system and sales from 2006. So
yeah, so you have
for a while, and seen a lot of companies trying to sell stuff.
Yeah, so you have a huge background in the topic as a whole. So before we dive into the whole agenda of AI in sales, for those of you who don't know Fellowmind, just briefly, we are quite a big Microsoft partner all around, based in all around Europe. We operate in 6 different countries, so Netherlands, Finland, Denmark, Sweden, Germany, and Poland, and we have something over 2,000 employees Europe-wide. And what we do typically is we focus around Microsoft technology mainly, and we basically offer these end-to-end business processes all within from modern work to marketing to supply chain management, whatever technological needs our customers have within their space is something that we typically tend to help with.
Yeah, and the sales topic is a very generic topic, and it involves everything in business: marketing, sales, customer service, what happens in the production side, and so forth. So it's in the middle of everything, and you need to have understanding of the whole process to help customers.
Yeah, exactly. So it's something that you need to take into account when thinking about these things. So another thing that is kind of our well within our DNA, so to say, is something to really, we are trying to boost people to enjoy using technology, and it's not something to take lightly to a degree. You shouldn't just build something with your engineering hat on and think that it will work. We really want to dive in the whole people enjoy using technology and make the technology work for them phrase that we even have here. So
yeah, my goal is you to fall in love with your CRM. Might be a bit challenge, but that's the end goal.
Yeah.
And it's good to understand that if we are serving the people first and make them enjoying the working with the technology, we also boost the business side, because all of a sudden you will understand what is happening in the sales side, because the people are working with the technology and providing valuable customer information, and the business will flourish. It will be transparent. So everything is connected.
Exactly. So that's briefly about Fellowmind as a whole. Today, as we said, we are going to be diving into the whole topic of AI, and more specifically, we are diving into the topic of sales. Now, we've had these other sessions regarding finance and marketing and customer service. We've had these before, and you can find these recordings from the Fellowmind website. Short Google and you will end up there for sure. But today, as I said, we'll be diving into the sales topic. Now,
generative AI. What the heck is it? Is it OpenAI? Is it ChatGPT? Is it Copilot?
Yeah,
what is it?
It's essentially this new thing, or not a new thing in the sense of technology, but generative AI is something that this company called OpenAI came really popular with lately. But what this technology is really about is you don't have to understand all the acronyms and all what everything means, but the basis of what you need to understand about this technology is that it's really the first technology to understand human text, human images, human speech, human videos even, and be able to, understand what you mean by whatever you're typing or taking a photo of, and be able to transfer that into something that a computer understands afterwards.
So it's like basically first technology to create for the people.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Naturally to people.
Yeah, nice.
So, but to really hone in on the detail, I'm sure many of you have had experiences with like a sort of this technology. You've had these once you see this ChatGPT technology, you see these chatbots and everything. So this is a sort of a thing that you have seen before. But I really want to, emphasize on one thing, that we have had these chatbots previously that you have used, and maybe around your banking or whatever, you have using these chatbots to ask some of your questions, and the first reply that you always get is, okay, I didn't understand what you meant, could you rephrase your question, something like this. So naturally you want to say that, okay, I want to talk to a human, and what the bot says is, it says like, okay, I didn't understand what you mean, do you want to talk to a real person? So they are really like like scripted conversation robots. They follow a certain pattern, and if you deviate from this pattern, you are basically lost.
Predefined pattern.
Exactly.
Path. Yeah. I hope you are promising something better.
I hope so too. So now what the AI really does, on top of these previous experiences that we've had, is that it provides a natural conversation. It actually now will not fall into these patterns of, I didn't understand what you mean, could you rephrase? But actually it will work fluently and naturally when it understands exactly what you mean, and you don't have to follow this predefined text pattern or a script, essentially. So remember this when we are talking about these AI chatbots and AI tools. They are vastly different, vastly better than what you have experienced thus far. So one thing that I find super exciting and interesting is that previously, before this technology, we were able to automate, let's say, 40% of human work tasks all around the world. Now, with this generative AI tools, we are now able to increase that by something like 30%, which is a huge amount.
Yeah, and it's a big thing, because we always had a technology, and we have these capabilities that we could use, and now the bar is raising really high.
Mm-hmm.
And if you stick with your more traditional processes, there will be challenging times ahead of you. So the bar is raising, and the capabilities are raising. So there will be a lot of new ways to automate, but to use the technology in modern way, and really have the business benefit out of it. So
yeah, exactly. And one thing that we also previously even talked about, and before we dive into the actual AI examples and the sales stuff, is that we've also seen with our own experiences and by studies done by big names such as McKinsey and Harvard, etc. They have studied essentially that now that we are able to understand this human text and all of these things that we previously weren't, we found out that most of the benefits actually are covered in certain business functions, and where the big representation is we found out it is in sales, marketing, and customer operations. Now, of course, software engineering, like developing, that is also interesting, and product R&D. But most of our customers and where the benefits are is definitely inside the sales, marketing, and customer operations, which is really interesting.
Yeah, and the fact that the 75% is the part of the traditional CRM processes that we are supporting. But if you think about those which are in the bottom section of the page, like ERP processes, those are the typical ones where the data quality is in like a top quality, because it needs to be, because the money comes from there, and the factories are running on top of those processes. But what about the sales? What about the marketing? We don't typically have that quality in the data. So there's a big challenge ahead for the companies, that they need to really dig deeper into the data that is flowing in the sales and marketing, so that they can benefit from the AI capabilities that surprisingly are using the data, the generative data, but your data as well. So
exactly,
something to think about when you are building your strategy.
Exactly, and this is something that we'll definitely dive in a little bit deeper also today. But yeah, so now we noticed that sales is definitely one of the key points of this. And obviously, a big part of it is due to that sales processes are about understanding humans, human speech. They are about influencing people, creating understanding, like from unstructured data. There are many topics. So what in your perspective is like what's going on with sales today, and yeah, what's your view?
Well, like the slide is showing, the role of seller is getting harder because typically the number of customers is getting bigger, amount of data is growing, and all the hassle in the day-to-day work is basically growing. And you still need to perform, and you still need to understand, although you have the same brain than yesterday. So you need to have some kind of new capabilities, some kind of co-pilot, so to speak, to help you to somehow use the data for the best of the customer and best for your company. But if you think about those 70% there, not large amount of sellers' work is focusing on something like non-selling duties. A lot of manual inputs and all kind of try to find the data, try to find the information that you need, and try to figure out what is happening. So we need to use the technology better because we have the same brain. We need to use the technology, use the data, be wiser. And luckily we have the AI here, so we have the technology.
Yeah, exactly. So a much more there are much more things that we can do and could do. We need some sort of basis for it, but using our brain more isn't always an option.
Yeah. And not all of those tasks are like going in waste, because we have, let's say, researching prospect. You need to do that to succeed in sales. You need to prepare and plan everything you are doing. So right things to do, but you could do it wiser. You can do it faster and use the data better. So
exactly, yeah. And many of these tasks that we even see here, some of these tasks or most of the tasks are something that even salespeople feel like are really negative, that they don't want to do it. They perhaps have to do it, but yeah, they aren't like getting enjoyment out of these tasks. And some of the ones that are in even in green color here, those are something that they do like to do. And much of these are something that AI definitely can hone in and help you out with. But yeah, so now really diverting to like what is the AI in sales, and why should people really be interested in this topic?
Yeah, and what kind of sales we have, because the sales is a really broad subject.
Oh, for sure, yes. So I guess the whole topic of sales really starts off with understanding like where our customers are. So there are really varying places where they can be and where they are finding their information from. So obviously, once we understand where our customers are, next we really need to understand is, okay, how can we influence their decisions? So this is something where we really need to differentiate, like what is the point in the customer journey to where we are really being able to influence their decision and help them choose us.
Yeah. So where the customer can mean like a location. Okay, this is the potential customer, but where in the customer journey? Kind of like have they researched stuff, or are they ready to buy, or are they just looking for information? And
exactly,
it can mean a lot of things.
Exactly. And whether they are in a club or a store or searching your website, we don't know, but that's definitely something that is important. Now, based on the understanding of where our customer is and how we can influence them, we really need to boil down to what we are selling and the influence part. And we've narrowed down this to pretty much 3 topics. We've narrowed it down to essentially solution selling, which is, I guess, the longest lead time of all these. We need to do a lot of work in order to really understand the customer need, build the solution proposal, and then essentially in the end close the deal. Then we have also product selling or service selling, which is really like more fast-paced scenarios where sometimes we don't even, get to meet our customer before they have already purchased the product or service. And then lastly, we have the direct orders, which is more of a wholesaler point of view.
You basically sell kind of like a contract, and the customer is ordering stuff based on their performance. So
yeah,
at the sales stage, you don't know how big deal this is, and you need to understand it. So different kind of sales, and we need to boost the sales in different way when we are selling differently. Because in solution selling, we do not need to kind of like be kind of fast. We need to build the trust and all those things. So different tools in different sales.
Yeah. So exactly, and obviously there are other variants of selling. Some are totally new, some are combination of what we're going to be showing here today. But today we are like focusing on these topics. But I'm sure that each and every part of selling and type of selling is something that can benefit from what we're going to be showcasing today. But anyways, starting off with more into the product selling and service selling category, like what we are typically trying to narrow this down to is sort of companies that are selling these standard products or services. The sales phases are really quick. Sometimes, as I said, we don't probably even get to know the customer too much. Maybe they are just visiting our website and doing already the purchasing, or then otherwise it's really fast paced in any case. So from the seller's point of view, the automation, the reaction time, they are really essential. And from the buyer's perspective, you typically have many options from which to choose. Now you're evaluating basically based on how personalized it is to my need, whatever they are selling, how well am I getting responses from the seller, and yeah, and of course price in the end. But there are other influences that we can create.
Yeah, basically, if you are buying car, you have a lot of options. So it's a kind of like a buyer is the master of this kind of
for sure,
this kind of selling.
Yeah. So really, to dive in, is like how do we influence this sort of sales, and to really, I guess, narrow down the process to a bit of a scenario is that we did a study previously. Now it's of course white labeled here, but we have this certain service scenario. We're selling sort of a professional house cleaning services, and this is from the point of view of the customer. Like, what is their experience like? We have this couple that are interested in buying a premium service because they have all these antique items that require extra care and attention from this cleaning service. So what is the buying experience like for the customer, and how can we differentiate? So essentially, this is quite a rapid process. Obviously, we have this couple. They have already done the googling. They found 11 services. They basically want to start as soon as possible. They sent an inquiry to all 11 that they found, but they only 5 replied. They found it really annoying that they had to be sending out emails to all different services, and some aren't even responding. And eventually, a few stood out from this process. Few came to do a personal visit with them, and they were able to showcase that they are a really good potential partner here.
Basically, customer has a lot of questions, uncertainties, and you need to kind of like jump into the shoes of the customer and answer those questions. Not tell something about your product, but answer the questions and make the buying kind of like a no-brainer.
Exactly, and these are the points that the customer really evaluates. And I'm sure many of you know that these are of course situations where we can again influence the decision. Now the rest of the process is of course more about the service side of things, how the operation is going, how it is transferred from the sales to the service side. It might work or might not work, but today we are not diving too deep into that. But to really dive in on what we need is that once we start off this whole process, we have all of these needs. We have from the beginning of the process, we need to understand that we have different buyers and they require different articles optimized for their specific needs. So they are again much more happier when they understand that their questions, their thoughts are taken into account. Now, again, if we move forward, we are about to be sending these inquiries to all of our possible suppliers. So in this case, we just need as fast time, real-time personalized replies as possible. And once we move forward, one thing that is really important, in my opinion, is that we need some sort of self-evaluation options. We need some price indications. We need some suggestions about things that the customer, might not have thought about, such as like trends or how does this fit into your apartment or whatever really narrowed down things. And of course, automated messaging, personalized offers, and time is really crucial here.
And the automation is a key here, because you don't have enough salespeople to handle all these inquiries.
Yes.
So you need to have automated process, at least at the beginning of the process, and then find those that need personal touch. Maybe those with the art collection or whatever. So different kind of customers, you need to understand who is who.
Exactly, and also be able to understand what the customer is telling you and maybe use that as some sort of upsell opportunity. Like we can also tell the customer like the similar products that other customers have used at this point and so forth. But again, we have different needs for different segments of whatever that it is that we are selling. So automated messaging is really important. But to really, I guess, tie this thing together is AI is something that can help with almost all of these topics that we have shown here. And one thing that really handles multiple steps of this whole process, of this whole study, is something where we can actually talk with the customer directly 24/7 whenever. So this is something that the B2C sales side and this fast-paced sales segment is, I believe, largely changing, is something that we can offer these web chatbots that do not need to be taught anything but to help the customer in the buying journey. So we could describe our need here. So in the scenario of the cleaning service, I could come here and type out my whole scenario that, okay, I have a building of this size, we have 2 floors, we have a bunch of antiquities that need to be handled with care. And the AI chatbot is essentially asking the right questions back to you. Okay, what about this specific detail? What about this specific detail? And after the discussion, it can point you your personalized selection. Okay, here is our premium service that takes these into account. Now, the next option is a little bit cheaper. It doesn't take into account this and this service. And again, point you to the right direction and being this sort of hyper-personalized assistant to help you out with your journey.
Basically, recommendation engine, so to speak.
Yeah.
So you ask questions or answer questions, and based on those information, we are providing recommendations. Okay, have you thought about this?
Yeah.
This kind of product or this kind of function in the product. So
yeah,
and mix those. So cross-selling, upselling, everything.
So essentially, if the fast-paced sales today is largely based on what article did I bump into, what website am I getting from Google, what is the first experience once I open the website, and how am I getting led through the whole process. So this essentially really helps you tie in all the nuts together and be able to showcase some better personalized service other than just sending an email with your offering and price tags for each item. But yeah, B2C fast-paced sales isn't everything. Next, we are going to be jumping into the B2B2B and B2B2C scenario.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this, Sami?
Yeah, this is kind of we have a lot of customers that have this kind of sales network, so to speak. So it's typically like a wholesaler network. So you're manufacturing something like the HVAC tools or products, and you have kind of like a wholesaler network that is dealing with the end customer. So they might have multiple brands in their store, and you are one of them. So it's a totally different ball game comparing to B2C selling. So you need to understand. Basically, you are selling price list or pricing to the wholesaler, and they have the connection to end customers, and they are dealing stuff based on those prices.
Yeah.
And you need to understand how our relationship is developing. Are the sales going up or down based and comparing to what the industry is going? If the industry is going up and our sales is going down, we can make some assumptions that okay, we are not number one choice of this wholesaler, and so we have kind of like repeatable orders, but we also might have some kind of RFPs coming like quotes of to some project, and there might be multiple wholesaler asking price to same project. If there's a big building hotel coming up, and there might be 3 wholesalers asking prices to the same project. You need to be really aware what prices you are giving to different wholesalers, that you don't like make a number one wholesaler there. You're treating the same and so forth. And you might have some kind of pricing inquiries, not quotes. How much this product is priced, and what kind of price do I get today, and all those. So a lot of hassle around the customer, around the contact, and you need to understand who is the end customer, or you typically want to understand who is the end customer, but in many cases you don't have the visibility there because the wholesaler is dealing the end customer.
Yeah.
So you're basically trying to understand how our sales is performing, but you don't have the visibility to the whole end-to-end process. So that is kind of a challenge, but luckily the AI can even give us the tools that we can motivate the wholesaler to be contacted with us, or providing the information, or even we can have the straight connection to the end customer as well.
Yeah, so it sounds like our job here is to motivate the wholesaler to sell our products better.
Yeah.
And also the bonus sort of here is to even understand the customer of the wholesaler that will buy our product and influence that decision too.
Yeah. And sales enablement, I don't know if that is even word, but enable the wholesaler to sell.
Yes.
Because they are basically continuing your story with their own brand and own personal. So you need to help them to sell your products. So that is something that needs to be happening.
So what is then something really like concrete that we can actually, help out in this scenario?
Yeah, and in this kind of field, we are typically talking about portals, because that is one way to have the connection between the wholesaler and even the end customer. But then you ask the question, okay, how we can motivate the wholesaler to use the portal, because they might have 5 different brands that they are representing. If they have 5 different portals to use,
exactly,
it's
a mess.
Yeah, it's a mess. So we need to provide value to the wholesaler, to the end customer, so that they really like to use the system and portal. So this is a good example, because there's a solar panel example here. You can ask questions. Okay, I have this kind of house in this area, and I have the swimming pool and these appliances that need the power. How many solar panels I need in Finland? And it is combining your product information. Okay, what kind of solar panels you are providing, but it also gives information how many hours of sun there is in Finland, for example. So you can calculate, okay, you need this amount of solar panels in this area of Finland. So it will provide information, and then if you're building the process wisely, you will have the order button straight ways there.
Yeah.
So okay,
Yeah.
what are we even talking about? Let's just order.
Yeah. So it's interesting that even the wholesaler could have a portal that they are keen to use because it guides them to make the right choices for their end customers then, and it's helping them understand what kind of possibilities there are. And of course that allows us to influence again more. Upsell again, cross sell, whatever we can then help out the customer in their scenario with, and we also get more understanding into the customer and what kind of needs arise and what they are tied to into the whole sense that if we are buying one screw, then we know where the screw is going.
And one thing that needs to be emphasized is that before AI, many of our product data was in PDF documents. We have those browsers all over the place, and we couldn't use those. But now all of the sudden, the AI can read the PDF as well. So let's teach the AI all those product information, and of course it will have the common knowledge that is taught to it, and we can utilize those PDF as well. So not everything needs to be in the system or database. It can be document as well. So that is one thing that will save a lot of companies in this early stages, because we have a lot of information. We can use those.
Yeah, perfect. And I think this is again not only something that we can provide our wholesalers, or it is something that we definitely will do and are doing, but also I think another point is that in this type of business, if you're possible, you're creating these sort of customer facing, like the end customer facing tools such as mobile applications or some portal where you can find the documentation of your devices, whatever vacuum cleaner that you have purchased or something else. This is of course about getting to know the actual end customer. And again, this is a point where we want to provide something valuable to the end customer, that they are again trying to choose us from whoever wholesaler is selling our products. So again, upsell, and we can provide this sort of interface again to these mobile applications where the end users can again type their whatever need they have, or if they have a certain error code within their devices and they want better customer service through that. That's another topic. But sales side, whatever they're telling us about their situation through these channels is something that we can record, and we can use it as a sort of a trigger for the sales team to recognize this is a situation where I can upsell something. I understand the customer scenario, and we're able to help them out with that. So it's really interactive.
What if you provide this kind of user interface to the shop floor?
Sure.
You have the products there, and you have the, like, let's say, small tablet, and you can provide your situation information there, and the system will recommend products or answering questions based on the AI and everything. And all of the sudden you have the kind of like connection to the end customer, and somehow differentiate from the competitor who is providing those processors.
Yeah. So this is really important, and in my opinion, really crucial about specifically this type of sales business, that we have now a tool that we can really differentiate ourselves with. So I'm really just thinking like I know it's a cliche term to use, like if you don't do this, what will happen?
Well, someone will do it.
Oh, for sure, yeah. But hey, that's shortly about the side of the wholesaler seller topic and this sort of sales type. Now, next we'll go into the B2B project sales sort of situation, and this is obviously to a degree this is partially about everything that we have already showcased today. It is partially about that, but it's also about something else. And to me, these longer sales cycles are something that is often often like involves they involve a lot of talking, they involve a lot of remembering stuff,
multiple stakeholders.
exactly, multiple stakeholders. They have a bunch of things to take into account. So do you have any thoughts about this?
Well, this is our day-to-day work basically when we are selling CRM
Sure.
systems. So sales cycle is fairly long, and the point is not to kind of like a hurry to be like a selling fast. You need to build the trust, and you need to understand all the stakeholders who might have different opinions, different thoughts, different questions, and you need to serve those like individually. So not as a whole, because the CFO might be thinking differently comparing to CEO.
Yeah.
So we need to have that personalization that you mentioned in the B2C side happening here as well.
Yeah.
And of course, during that sales cycle, there might be like hundreds, tens of meetings for sure. You are meeting the customer. It might be active and passive phases happening during this sales cycle. You have the tens meetings. You have hundreds of phone calls. You have hundreds of chat internally. You are talking with the colleague or whatever, Teams or a phone call or email. A lot of things happening. And if you are thinking about the sales guy here,
Yeah.
it's kind of like a project manager duty to do. You need to understand what is happening. You need to understand where we are at the moment. You need to have like a nurturing process happening, because during that year, some competitor might be going in the middle of the year and the end, the customer. So this is really tough, but it's a totally different ball game than B2C, for example.
Yeah, for sure. And again, as we are talking about like how to influence whoever is buying, so we have so much information in this whole process, but I think this is a hard topic in a sense that much of this data is forgotten, or it is in the heads of people, and they are picking and choosing what data to use, and it's really not recorded anywhere.
Yeah, they are telling, okay, we had a really good conversation, and the CEO was opening their secrets and everything, and okay, where is it?
Yeah,
well, it's here.
yeah.
So you need to somehow get that information without burdening the salespeople with all that manual inputs that they need to do. So we need to have some kind of way to gather information during those communication moments, and have that as a kind of asset.
Exactly. And this is actually something that that we are able to do like really well today, actually. But many people don't know that this is actually some of these things that we can just press a few buttons within, for example, your team's environment, and we can have AI already help you out with transcribing your meetings and saving them to your CRM systems, and really, I guess the whole point is to now combine the data from these chat interactions that we are having, like meeting interactions, and saving them to the system that actually it's gonna be useful there.
Yeah.
So this is really like, to me,
we can summarize everything, emails and all the Teams transcripts and everything, and summarize and make them easy to use. When some other salesperson is reading what is happening, they don't need to read the whole transcript. I hope no one reads the whole transcript. You can read the summary, emails as well. So really good option to help input the data, but also use the data.
Exactly. And once we basically gather this data, so I mean, we use the data probably 500 times already this meeting or this webinar, but really, what does it mean, like when we gather this data and it's available? I mean, we've given a couple of examples, but even like looking into this scenario that we have here, like the why the data is really important is that we can actually start to ask questions about our data. So previously we have had the need to, go over every meeting documentation and try to understand what's the idea behind this specific meeting. But right now we can just ask like, okay, what's been happening for the past week, or what was the actual key points of the last meeting that we had, and then combining that information from emails, from these meetings that we've had, from our phone calls,
internal Teams messages.
Exactly. All of this data, we can ask the most relevant questions and be able to really come back to that scenario. Because we both know that in this sort of long cycle selling, we jump from one customer to another.
Yeah.
So you talk with one guy for a while, then you jump on the next one, and then you have to rewind back to where you started.
Yeah. And now you have like meeting number 15 with this customer.
Yes.
And you need to jump into it and understand what has happened before.
Yeah.
So this is good example how to utilize the data that we previously talked about, how to input easily. So now we are using the data.
Exactly. And I think one of the key points here is also that this is just the first version of it. We are all getting like insane benefits from enabling these tools for our daily use within Outlook emails, within Teams meetings. But the scope, the where we are going next is we're gradually getting even more insane capabilities, such as what you can see here. We are getting a basically a chat GPT on top of your CRM, where you can just ask questions about whatever data you have there, what kind of understanding you want from that specific lead or opportunity or whatever that's happening. That's, in my opinion, really insane. And we are getting these tools not only for a single segment of your business. We are getting these to every part of your business, whether that be you using Word or Excel or your daily CRM or Outlook. The tools are there, and you can just
and there's a lot of like a low hanging fruits available that you can pick. Of course, not everything is working for everyone, but you have these tools available. You can pick and choose what are you using and trying those, because you need to kind of like learn to work with the AI and data. And in the long play, so to speak, you need to kind of like build the data around the AI that in the future you will have better insights and better AI available that the competitors won't have, because it's data that you own and you and your customer are building together in the collaborations.
Yeah, that's really important point. The data that you own, you have the most the biggest competitive advantage in. But to tie things together a little bit, AI in sales is about a few things. You can already get started by some easy tools that take a few clicks to get started. Some take a little bit more configuration to get started, and others are fully customized to create solutions on top of your data and all of your needs. But to really like summarize all the stuff that we have gone over today, is that really AI in sales is about hyper personalization, whether that be providing the first point of contact to your customer where they can already tell their need, and we can ask the right questions from the customer. We can save that as a lead to our system. We know the story about the customer, and we are able to dive into that. Now, the next one is, of course, we need to gather the data. We need to gather understanding from these phone calls, from these Teams meetings, from wherever we are interacting with the customer, tie them all together with AI to build understanding what is going on with this specific customer and scenario, and how it can help us build a sales case for us.
Because data is really relevant today.
Yes, it's the biggest thing right now. But anyway, to really showcase everything, we have, of course, within Fellowmind, build a sort of a ready-made road how to move onwards with this AI topic, how we can move towards the world where we can offer these services. We have built these, so we have a ready-made tool to help you get introduced to the topic, help you get started for your business, and help you actually experience the AI where we build it for you too. So let us know if something resonates with you. We'll definitely be able to answer back to you about any subject that concerns you, or what do you think about the AI topics. So I'm Miika Tekoniemi.
Sami Kankaanpää, and let's connect on LinkedIn. It's
Yeah,
a good platform to have the conversation.
for sure. So over and out. Thanks from us, and see you next time.
Okay, see you.